Oh, great shot. Look at that.
They had an earthquake in Cardiff a couple of years ago. Was that you?
Bit of trouble with the Slidine.
Slidine, yep.
Long time ago. Lifetime. Different man by then.
Literally. Physically, at least. Captain Jack.
We're going to the end of the universe.
Whoa. Now that is quite the opening. Going to the end of the universe. Captain Jack shows up. I've missed him, man. You know he's gonna hit on Martha. Oh.
Professor, though.
Yes.
I've certainly seen him in films.
We should go. We should really
It's not gonna be that easy.
go.
He's gonna flirt the moment he sees Martha.
That mythical kit thing.
Hello again.
He's dead. Oh, it's for me. It's all right. Just breathe deep. I've got you.
Captain Jack Harkness. And who are you?
Yeah.
Martha Jones.
Nice to meet you, Martha Jones.
Oh, don't start.
I was only saying hello.
I don't mind.
Doctor,
Captain,
good to see you.
and you. Same as ever. Although, have you had work done?
You can talk.
Oh yes, the faith. Regeneration.
You abandoned me.
Did I? Busy life, moving on. Oh no, sorry. She's alive. You're kidding. Parallel world, safe and sound. And Mickey, and a mother.
Oh, yes!
This is so charming.
Good old Rose.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, how come you left him behind, Doctor?
I was busy.
Is that what happens, though? Seriously? Do you just get bored of us one day and disappear?
Not if
Yeah.
you're blonde.
Oh, she was blonde. Oh, what surprise!
You two, we're at the end of the universe.
What killed it?
Time. It's time. Everything's dying now.
Killer of all things.
Civilizations have gone. We should be frozen to death.
Well, Martha and I, maybe.
Not so sure about you, Jack.
What about the people? Does no one survive?
Ooh. Show me your teeth. Yeah. I suppose if mutated or
I'm hungry.
cannibals. They'll come back. They always come back.
Stinking. Oh, sorry. No offense, not you.
Keep it down now, Captain Jack.
Cold smell of humans. You survived. Good, apparently.
Uh-oh. Sleeper agent? Yeah.
Captain Jack Harkness.
Paint.
Can I say hello to anyone?
Chan, I do not protest, though.
Maybe later, Blue.
Oh.
That's my hand.
I said I had a doctor detector.
Chan, is this a tradition
Oh, the sword!
amongst your people, though?
Not on my street. What do you mean that's your hand? You've got both your hands.
Didn't he get it cut off?
Long story. I lost my hand Christmas Day in a sword fight.
Yep. Ah, I felt it, Captain Jack.
It's worth a look, don't you think? Oh, yes.
Uh-oh. Is this guy in the process of mutating? He might be. That begs the question, how did that sleeper agent make it in? Or is that someone that actually turned on the inside? I get the feeling that Utopia might not be as it seems.
Professor, it's a wild stab in the dark, but I might just have found your way out.
Whoa. Whoa. Something's going on.
It's just a headache. It's just this noise inside my head, Doctor.
Oh.
Constant noise inside my head. What sort of noise? It's the sound of drums. More and more, as though it's getting closer.
Strikes me, Professor, you've got a room which no man can enter without dying.
Yes.
Well,
He can enter.
I think I've got just the man.
Was someone kissing me?
Look at this. They really do make a great team.
The Doctor sort of travels through time and space and picks people up. God, I make us sound like stray dogs. Maybe we are.
Travels in time.
Don't ask me to explain it. That's a TARDIS, that box thing.
It's similar to Tim.
Sports car of time travel, he said. That's a TARDIS. That's a TARDIS.
Oh, the door's open.
A stray javelin.
Ooh.
In the end, I got the message. I'm the man who can never die.
You're a fixed point in time and space. You're a fact. That's never meant to happen. Even the TARDIS reacted against you, tried to shake you off. Rose.
Hmm.
I thought you'd send her back home.
She came back. Opened the heart of the TARDIS and
The
absorbed
finale,
the
right?
vortex itself.
What does that mean exactly?
No one's ever meant to have that power.
I bring life.
She brought you back to life. But she couldn't control it. She brought you back forever.
Ah.
Do you want to die?
Oh, this one's a little stuck.
Jack.
I thought I did. I don't know. But this lot. You see them out here surviving. And that's fantastic.
He said it just like Eccleston.
The only man you're ever going to be happy with?
This new regeneration. It's kind of cheeky.
Hella cheeky.
Always late, always lost.
Hmm.
Even this thing never worked.
Martha, this watch is me. I'm going to become human.
Time again.
Don't open it.
Always running out of me.
Can I have a look at that?
Like me,
Is it Time
Where
Lord?
did you get it?
I was found with it.
What do you mean?
An orphan in the store. It's old. It's not meant to be.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
That's why he's having.
Does it matter?
No,
It's a Time Lord.
nothing. He's got this watch. He's got a fob watch. It's the same as yours. Same writing on it. Same everything.
Ridiculous.
I asked him. He said he's had it his whole life.
So he's got the same watch.
Yeah, but it's not a watch. It's this chameleon thing.
No. It's this thing, this device. It rewrites biology. Can you see it now?
Oh yeah. He's about to open it.
The time
Regeneration.
Those things can trigger all his memories.
Open me, you human fool. Open the light and summon me and receive my majesty.
Oh no. Yeah. Anytime a presence tells you to release it, that's not a good thing, is it? Oh,
Not.
alone. Yen, oh my god. The master. Okay, she did enough to stun him. Shit. This is a new type of score now. Kicking in.
She's dead.
That's a first.
It's only the two of us. We're the only ones left. Just let me in.
Still, if the doctor can be young and strong, then so can I.
Regeneration? Oh my god. This is insane. Almost kind of look like Simon Pegg. Whoa. I kind of get the, you know how Loki is?
Now then, Doctor,
can work out a way to stop me. I don't think.
Hold on, I know that voice.
Saxon?
I'm asking you really properly. Just stop.
Use my name.
Master.
Is that what she recognizes the voice?
Sorry.
How can she know the voice?
End of the universe. Have fun.
Bye-bye.
This is madness. Whoa. Whoa. Right then, that is brilliant. There's just, oh my goodness, the setup of this episode and the execution of this episode is just phenomenal, man. Seriously, the hits keep coming. Series 3, you know, this run of episodes I'm on right now, you know, in Series 3 is just phenomenal. It keeps upping itself, right, from episode to episode. Or at least, you know, it's staying at that level, and it's a really high level, right? So let's run it down. I got Human Nature, right? Fantastic episode. Then Family of Blood, phenomenal episode. And then I got Blink right after those two episodes. And then, at first it appeared that, okay, it's about to take a bit of a dip, right? Perhaps a one-off story about, you know, the end of the universe and how humanity kind of tackles it. And, you know, for about half of the episode, yeah, it felt like that. It felt like one of those standalone episodes. You know, story begins, these one-episode characters are established, and then there's a conclusion, right? There's a resolution, and then the crew moves on. But no, I get perhaps one of the... Honestly, the misdirection in this is just perfect. The execution of this misdirect and, you know, this bombshell that just flips you on your head or flips the whole episode on its head is just brilliant execution. It goes from perhaps an episode that's about to take a dip to yet another hit, right? Like I said, the hits keep coming. So in that sense, again, the misdirection. Oh my God, they got me, and I'm sure they got a lot of people. And in that sense, you know, the bombshell, right? That moment, you know, the moment he pulls out that watch, that is a holy shit moment. And it's such an effective bombshell, such an effective plot twist because it was established or set up perfectly, right? Because of that two-parter. Right? And the whole concept of your whole biology, you know, changing to a human's biology, right? Through this chameleon arc. And this thing is so effective that even our doctor, even he thought that there's no trace of any other Time Lords left, right? It's that effective. Oh my God, just... It really is a fantastic setup throughout this season, isn't it? And then, you know, in that sense, I believe this individual is perhaps this Saxon fellow they've been mentioning earlier on, right? Because I think Martha saying she recognizes the voice, it seemingly connects it to that timeline, right? Because they've, you know, established Saxon as this elusive figure that's running for office, right? Now, the fact that he has this TARDIS, right, and he took off, it means that it's possible that, you know, this new Time Lord, the Master, quite a grand title, if I say so. But yeah, it's so possible that he could have taken the TARDIS back into the past at that point in time, and then, you know, establish himself as this sleeper agent. And yeah, you know, I think this might be it. This might be the Saxon fellow they've been setting up throughout the season. Now, you know, more on this Master fellow in a bit. Game changer for sure. And, you know, this right here, the few minutes of him alone are more than enough to let us know the reason the Doctor had that concerned look on his face, right? You would think if the face of Bo is telling him you are not alone, you would think he would be incredibly happy at that notion or that thought that there could be other Time Lords out there, or there might be at least one other Time Lord out there. But, the thing to note there, and as I mentioned, it really was concern, wasn't it? Now you see it. That look on his face as he's locked out of his own TARDIS, like, that's a first time, for me at least, to see him locked out of his TARDIS because it's been hijacked by another Time Lord. This is madness. Like I said during the reaction, this is madness. This is just brilliant. This is top level stuff, right? This is quite exciting. And now they find themselves stranded at the end of the universe, and the TARDIS is taken off. So that in itself is such an exciting prospect, right? Going into the next episode. So now I know there's only 2 more episodes left. So is this the first 3-parter, perhaps? Because usually the final 2 episodes are 2-parters, right? So this clearly set this up, and now it left, it finished or concluded on a cliffhanger. So yeah, perhaps it's going into a potential 3-parter. Exciting. It's really exciting stuff. So, how are they going to get out of here? They're stranded at the end of the universe. Maybe Captain Jack, his thing, he said he can jump around, right? Essentially, he can also travel in time, but it's a different approach, right? He said his is more so of a jump. Maybe that could come into play, even though he said it's kind of busted at the moment. Really, such an enjoyable episode. I'm telling you, man, that the moment he pulled out that fog watch, that is one of the best holy shit moments, one of the best bombshells or plot twist moments I've seen in a long time. It's right up there. And it was so exciting because it really did, I really did feel like I was flipped upside down, right? Or I was sucker punched. Because that is not the direction this episode was taking at all, right? So again, like I said, fantastic use of misdirection and red herrings in this episode. On one end they have these cannibal, future kind humans, right, established as the main antagonist, perhaps, and then this, this really likable, sweet old man professor, right? And before I go any further, I did look up his name. I do know him from films. I immediately remembered him from Gladiator and Hamlet, the 96 Hamlet. So I certainly had to look up the name. So I looked up Gladiator and I saw the name, Sir Derek Jacobi. So, I really want to be respectful because this is certainly an established actor. I've seen him in films, but sometimes you just don't get to the name. But the moment you see that face and you see the acting, you've experienced this before. And he was one of the standouts, right? Throughout the episode. Phenomenal performance, really. And in that sense, it was quite reminiscent of Tennant's performance in that 2-parter, right? Human Nature and Family of Blood. Coming to the realization, he didn't. Right, it was a different path, right? Professor Yana, he didn't come to the realization that he's just this fake story that's been made up. But the switch from Professor Yana to the Master, whoa, believable, so believable, just like Tennant, right? Menacing, like just like that, right? You see it. There's no change. No change of costume, no change of makeup, no nothing. It's the same appearance, yet it is not the same person, right? Again, fantastic acting on display. He really was, in those few minutes, he really was quite menacing and frightening, right? In that sense, I'm also kind of, sad that I didn't get to see Sir Derek actually, be the Master for a bit longer than that, right? Before he regenerates. But those few minutes, yeah, those are fantastic acting, right? And there's this, and even before the switch, even him as Professor Yana, it's such a great performance. It's such a, at one point it becomes bit of a heartbreaking performance, an emotional performance, right? You see him get emotional about the notion that time travel used to exist, and you start getting the feeling that this man, this brilliant man, as the Doctor surmised or noted, is he ended up being born long after his time, right? long after anything is left. And, you see that, and you see how emotional he gets about this, right? The things he missed, right? He really certainly did feel like a man out of time, or at the wrong time. And then, of course, that's the setup for something as nonchalant as him pulling out a watch, but it's not, though, right? It really isn't. You really do begin to feel for this man, this Professor Yana. But just like John Smith, Professor Yana isn't real, right? And even that in itself is kind of sad, isn't it? This last great beacon of hope for humanity, at the end of the universe. But even that is not real, right? And then he goes from this sweet, likable old man, old professor, to this chaotic presence. And like I said, it really reminded me of Loki in that sense, So it's kind of like the Loki to the Doctor's Thor, right? He really had that chaotic presence about him, this master fellow. But the thing is, he's clearly not the type of Time Lord the Doctor is. They've clearly established him as some kind of malign authority or force, right? And in that sense, there's two trains of thought here. Did he use the arc himself, or was he trapped, right? Because he's this presence, right? This chaotic presence that had to be just kind of imprisoned for the rest of his life, right? So he could forget his actual life. Because through, once it becomes apparent that, okay, this is a Time Lord, and, Professor Yana starts to realize something's going on here, something's up. Then it becomes apparent, you start hearing it, summon me and receive my majesty, you human fool. Yeah, he's clearly the antagonist here, right? But the really interesting thing here is that he is a Time Lord. That's the most fascinating part about this, right? For once, it's not this, it's not a Dalek, it's not Cyberman, it's just not a distinct alien foe, right? Being set up for the grand finale of the series. It's another Time Lord that is opposing our Doctor, our Time Lord. So that is so fascinating. It's so exciting. And now I got a bit of him right at the end there. Post regeneration. And how about that? I actually got to see a regeneration that wasn't the Doctor. So I'm excited to get to these next two episodes to actually get to see this portrayal of the Master. Now again, circling back, I kind of, I'm going off on a tangent, but circling back, two trains of thought, right? Either he was imprisoned, or he was kind of forced to forget about him being the Master, a Time Lord, and this chameleon arc was used on him, right? Or he used it himself. Now it's possible I could be leaning towards him using it himself, because Captain Jack mentioned, this is kind of like the perfect solution, right? If he wanted to escape the Time War and hide, perhaps this is the best thing to do. Hide out at the end of the universe, and it appears that's how it played out. But then you could tell now he wanted to come out, to be released. So yeah, at first I thought maybe this chaotic presence had to be sealed, right? Like a genie in the bottle type thing, but an evil genie. But it also appears that he might have done it to himself to escape, right? As Captain Jack stated. But also should be noted that he doesn't know how things are at the moment, because you have the Doctor who's yelling from outside of the TARDIS, telling him it's just the two of us now. Like, he's trying to fill him in. He's trying to tell him things are different now. It's just us two. So, and once again, on that point, now the Doctor is in this position that there is another Time Lord, and this is insane, right? Absolutely insane. But it's clear that he's going to have to take out this elusive, rare second Time Lord, right? So that's going to be tough, regardless of his chaotic presence and his notions and ideas. It is going to be tough, right, to take out this rare second Time Lord. And of course, the Doctor is going to take him out somehow, right? He always does. But, that'll be the exciting thing, how they even get back there and then how he approaches this. Now, I noticed that the Doctor apologized, right? He said, "I'm sorry." And then the Master replied, "Tough." And then, he goes on. So, yeah, that's interesting that the Doctor is apologizing, right? This really is so exciting to finally get something connected to the Doctor's past, right? And also in terms of lore, they brought up a lot of it from series 1 and 2, right? So yeah, it really was quite a great episode. And again, in that sense, speaking of lore, Captain Jack, fantastic to see him back. He really just slots right in, right? Anytime they bring him in for an episode, it's seamless, right? John is such a fantastic actor, and this character is just so cool and so likable, right? Though of course the Doctor still kind of had some suspicions, or he was creeped out by him, right? He essentially said as much. Though of course then there's that scene in the radiation chamber. I really like that scene. It's one of the standout scenes actually of them kind of having a heart to heart, right? And in that sense, it was the type of conversation that the Doctor isn't really able to have with too many other people, right? It's a rare situation. So after, the initial, I'd say in the first half of the episode, there's still that standoffish, creeped out Doctor. But then, once they kind of get to that radiation chamber and they're having, a one-on-one, he really does kind of open up, doesn't he? And he speaks with him in a totally different capacity, right? Given Jack's experiences now. So I think the Doctor felt like he could really open up and relate to Jack. And of course the chemistry. It really was so perfect to have John come in, and he seamlessly just gels, right? Him and Tennant just play off each other. And then him and Martha. I really, really hope. I say that, but yeah, Captain Jack's going to be around for at least these final 2 episodes, right? The finale. So that's really cool. But I really hope even down the line, he keeps coming back. Now, staying on Captain Jack, but bringing Martha in, you can see throughout the episode, or, in some of those early phases, that both of them showcase frustrations, right? Because, the Doctor is not an easy individual to deal with. So much of how the Doctor behaves is beyond the understanding of these companions, right? He's unknowable in so many aspects, right? So you can see how people could get frustrated, or these companions could get frustrated, and they both showcase that frustration, right? Captain Jack, he straight up tells him that you abandoned me, right? And also the interesting thing to note is that Martha hears this, right? And throughout the episode, there's these kind of moments of her kind of hearing these kind of things and kind of realizing, right? And then you'll see her kind of look down, almost have a disappointed look on her face. And that happened throughout the episode. Of course, Rose came up again. And then, of course, Martha even comments on that. Of course, good old Rose, I believe she said. And, in that sense, you could see that Martha is definitely getting quite a clear understanding of, what it means to be traveling with the Doctor, to be a companion. And, I said a few episodes ago, in that sense, her departure or her separation is not going to be as emotional as Rose. And, she's intelligent enough to understand that, of course, there's so many things that she'll never know about the Doctor, right? He's not a simple, I was going to say person, but he's not a simple individual to just understand, right? And I think she's intelligent enough to know that she's perhaps lucky enough to know a part of him. But also in that sense, bit of a happy note, she is still learning more about the Doctor, right? And also the Doctor is learning more about Captain Jack. These characters are still kind of learning new things about each other. She sees his hand from the Christmas special, Captain Jack kind of hangs on to it. So, even at this point, she is learning new things about the Doctor, and, that he can regenerate arms or regrow limbs. But, in that sense, perhaps this might be a good time to bring up the concept of regeneration to Martha. Now, again, it's tough to say because I'm not sure how long Martha is going to stay on as a companion. If it's going to be a similar cycle to Rose, being the link in terms of, Eccleston regenerating into Tennant, and Rose was the constant, right? So could it be the same for Martha? That she might see Tennant regenerate. Again, I'm not sure. It all depends on how long she's going to stick around as a companion, right? But let's see if that comes up, because he did regenerate, the master, that is. So he might explain that to Martha, because Jack knows. Jack even made a funny little comment about this new regenerated doctor being quite cheeky. And that embodies, I think that also, embodies Tennant's take on the Doctor, for sure. Cheeky is certainly the term that came to mind the first time I saw him step out of the TARDIS. Did you miss me in that Christmas special? I love that entrance. It was interesting to see that the humans kind of maintain this form, right? Or at the end of the universe, this is still the form they have. I believe the Doctor called them the fundamental human, right? Though, of course, he also mentioned, clouds of gas and millions of years of downloads as well. So essentially, they kind of end up in this fundamental human form. And he was fascinated by that, right? But, in that sense, I also saw another depiction of the last human, going back to Series 1, Episode 2, Rose's first adventure, right, in the TARDIS. They show me the last human. I believe her name was Cassandra, right? And she was just this stretched out, trampoline-looking mesh of flesh, right? Moisturize me. But then I suppose it's been a long time since then, and of course, clouds of gas and millions of years of downloads, and they end up in this fundamental human form, as the Doctor stated. Also, from a practical sense, production, it makes production quite easy in that sense, doesn't it? That you don't have to think up of some elaborate, take on humans at the end of the universe. They're just the fundamental human form. Right then, I think that's about it. Really was quite a fantastic episode, especially the plot twist, it flipped it on its head. Bombshell. I had a legitimate jaw on the floor moment, didn't I? And, in that sense, I was so happy to be blindsided, to be sucker punched. It really was great. The misdirection. I really appreciate the use of it in this episode. So I enjoyed that quite a bit, and I'm so excited to move on to these next two episodes. If you enjoyed it, please do consider dropping a like. It only takes a split second, and it really does help out. It really helps it get noticed. And if it gets more likes, it gets noticed by more Doctor Who fans, and then it's all great. And honestly speaking, the Doctor Who fans or the Doctor Who subscribers, you guys are some of the most respectful I've come across in my time on YouTube. So I really do appreciate you dropping by and checking these out, and you're dropping by in the comment section. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. If you're interested in early access to the next episode right now, or full length for this episode, consider checking out the Patreon page and check out the different links there. And in doing so, you'll be supporting the channel. And also consider checking out the pinned comment. The pinned comment does have the links to the social media and the Patreon page, and if I need to make any updates. So yeah, that's about it for this one. Yet again, another hit, right? Another enjoyable episode on a fantastic run at the moment. And these next two episodes promise to be just as good, or if not better, right? Phenomenal. It's just insane, this run I'm on right now, or the run the show is on right now. Quite excited. So thanks for checking that out. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you soon for the next one. Take it easy.